Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to Miss Shahira. Today our group, which is group 7, will present about Georgia Poultry accident. So this is our group members. Firstly, myself Islam bin Johari, then Muhammad Tariq Baik bin Safu Anwar. Next, Muhammad Fauzan Shafi Muhammad Faudi, and the last one is Muhammad Sharul Azim bin Azmin. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Islam bin Johari and I will present about the introduction of Georgia Poultry. The Georgia Poultry Federation is at Gainesville at United States, known as a global leader. The agriculture and agribusiness industry is dominated by poultry. Chickens are the state's most important agriculture crop, bringing in more than 2.4 billion in farm income each year. The farm revenue, processing, and related sector, as well as meeting, conference, the poultry industry provide major economic advantage to countless Georgians. The International Poultry Trade Show is world's biggest poultry trade show is held in Georgia every year. The chicken processing line consists of qualifying employees, automated equipment, USDA, and plants officials doing inspection and testing. Next is the work process. The first step is to receive and slaughter. Firstly, chickens are transported from the farm to the processing factory where they are grown cage-free in enormous ventilated building known as grow-out houses. Workers who have been trained in human handling place hands on a moving line with care. Dims light created a soothing sensation on the chicken breast. Let the hands relax. Birds are shocked before being butchered with a single slash to the throat. Before the feather removal, evisceration, and cleaning, skilled professionals guarantee that each bird is properly butchered. Then cleaning and evisceration. This section of the railroad is largely automated. Most of the work is done by machine. Internal organ, feathers, and the feet are all removed. Carcasses are cleaned extensively for any food safety and quality problems. Each carcass is examined by a member of processing facility and USDA inspector. After that, the carcasses are frozen to kill any germs that may be present in the meat. Any potentially harmful germs such as salmonella are checked out on the bird. Last but not least, packaging and shipping. The chicken is packaged and boxed after it is sliced up into sections. The USDA marks of certification is required before the chicken products may leave the factory. Finally, the chicken is transported to supermarket, restaurant, and distribution facility on the refrigerated truck. After that, at their work environment and the task is carried out at the workplace is like an employee at a poultry farm help the farm daily operation. They undertake periodic maintenance on the house as well as irrigation and heating system as needed. Firstly, the tasks carried out are to ensure birds have access to food and water, then walk through the house to identify sick or injured birds, assist with egg collection, washing and sorting. Next, when entering and departing dwelling, they use correct biosecurity procedures. After that, they control temperature of houses for ultimate bird comfort. They conduct maintenance on the house and watering or heating system as needed. And the last one is control house lighting to meet birds' needs and maintain high standard of animal welfare. That's all from me. Thank you. Next, I will pass this presentation to Sharul Azim.
Thank you, Islan. Assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon. I bid to my fellow friends. I will continue the presentation. In my presentation, I would like to tell about hazard associated. Firstly, Guineaville poultry processing industries employ thousands of people, earning the city the moniker poultry capital of the world. The air we breathe in made of 70% of nitrogen and 21% of oxygen. Liquid nitrogen was utilized as a refrigerant in manufacture refrigeration system. When liquid nitrogen is released into the air, it vaporizes into a gaseous form and is harmless. According to the US Chemical Safety Board, substantial amount of gaseous nitrogen infiltrate the air, displacing oxygen and causing death by asphyxiating after a long time in an oxygen depleted atmosphere. Next slide. The objective of this project is to identify the problem that caused an accident involving chemical in the plant. Second, to find a way to prevent accident in the plant. Thirdly, learn how to handle chemical during the process of producing many materials in the factory. And then ensure the safety of the factory workers in good condition when handling chemicals to prevent a similar accident from happening again. Last but not least, ensure that factory workers follow the established procedure during uh, the material manufacturing process.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Fauzan Shafi bin Muhammad Fondi, and I will continue this presentation with the accident reporting. In this topic, we will have three subtopics, which is accident report, what if analysis, and suggestion.
Okay, now we will start with accident report. The accident report is about a chicken processing plant in Gainesville, Georgia, owned by a Foundation Food Group. They have failed to take any safety steps necessary to prevent a nitrogen leak that killed about 6 workers and severely injured at least 10 workers by asphyxiation inside a poultry processing plant. The Department of Labor, or we can call it with DOL, said in a Friday that they are proposing nearly $1 million penalty for the incident. The Georgia Poultry plant accident was an industrial disaster that occurred on 28 January 2021 in Gainesville, Georgia, United States. The chronology is: firstly, it was the liquid nitrogen leak accident was start to occur shortly after 10 a.m. at Eastern Standard Time (EST), but it was falsely initially reported to have been an explosion. The leak occurred in the freezing room at the plant. When the first 3 maintenance workers entered the freezing room without any precaution, and none of them were trained on the deadly effect of a nitrogen exposure, they are immediately dead of asphyxiation. Then the additional workers subsequently follow 3 of them. The 2 of them also died immediately, but the last person died while being transported to the hospital for the treatment. The local and the county firefighter were notified by 10:20 a.m. after they arrived. While doing a rescue mission, at least 4 of the firefighters were reported having respiratory issues and were taken to the Northeast Georgia Medical Center. Also, about 130 factory workers were brought to a free chapel church campus in Gainesville, and examined for injuries. Those who are severely injured were hospitalized, which is about 10 people. Out of 10 people who were hospitalized, 3 of them were placed in the intensive care. At the end, the nitrogen leak was contained, but about 1.5 mils of Memorial Park Drive Road, where the factory
and the nearby Lehman Hall Elementary School is located were closed. It had been reopened by 1:38 p.m. 1:30 p.m. after the gas is clear. Okay, next we will continue with OSHA investigation. Okay, OSHA determined that the leak was occurred as a result of a freezer malfunction, which released the liquid nitrogen and rapidly vaporized, then displaced the oxygen in the confined space of the freezer room. The agency found that the Foundation Food Group had failed to adequately train its employees on the hazard associated with liquid nitrogen in the confined space. The DOL, Occupational Safety and Health Administration, investigate the 28 January 2021 case at the Food Foundation Group facility, found that about 59 violations have been made and proposing about 998 million 637 dollars in penalty against the company and two other entities that haven't been told yet their names. The death and the injuries were entirely avoidable, said the U.S. Labor Secretary Marty Walsh at the conference. Marty Walsh urged the Congress to give the DOL and the OSHA greater leeway in levying larger penalty when business disregard the law in the place to protect the workers. The Foundation Food Group also has 15 days to respond to OSHA action, citing the company for 26 violations, including not telling its worker that a liquid nitrogen was used in the freezer and failed to develop and use the lockout procedure.
Lastly, we will move to what if analysis. In this part, I will only present about what if and the consequences. The suggestion will be continued with the next presentation. Okay. The first one is, what if a freezer room of liquid nitrogen malfunction? So the consequence is a liquid nitrogen will be leaked. And next one, what if someone enter a freezer room of a liquid nitrogen without any precautions? So the consequence is the workers will immediately die from the asphyxiation. The third one is, what if the company failed to adequately train its employees on the hazard associated with liquid nitrogen in the confined space? So the consequence is the workers will fail to use the available knowledge and the equipment that could save their life and the other worker life. And lastly, what if the company allowed the position of the safety manager be vacant for a longer time? The consequences is the company will fail to implement an appropriate lockout takeout procedure for the freezer to the employees, and the company also will fail to implement a permit required of the confined space program. That's all from me. I will pass this presentation to Muhammad Shairul for the next point.
Thank you, Fauzan. I will continue this presentation. In this slide, I will tell you about the suggestion and the thing that we can develop when the plant is use chemicals to avoid an accident from happening. Okay, firstly, the manager of the plant must improve the security standard for workers and factory facilities. Next, engineer or worker of the plant must check all the equipment and machine in the plant before started the process of manufacturing materials. Next, they also must ensure the safety equipment in a good condition and safe when one to use it. Lastly, the main engineer could could monitor the work performance by the plant worker before, during, and after performing material manufacturing work. This all of suggestion can avoid us from an accident in the plant. That's all from me. I will proceed this presentation to my next friend. Thank you.
Thank you, Fauzan. Assalamualaikum. My name is Tariq Baik, and I would like to present the conclusions. There are 3 points that I will be presenting, which is hazard identification methods, what if analysis method, and what if analysis method benefits. My first point is the hazard identification methods. There are 5 types of hazard identification methods, which is process hazard checklist, safety review, hazard and operability hazard studies, hazard survey, and what if analysis. The first one is process hazard checklist. A checklist compensates for possible limitation in hazard perceptions. Human memory and attention to precise information. It aids in ensuring consistency and completeness in execution of a task by an individual, organization, or throughout an institution. The second one is safety review. A safety review is an evaluation of workplace for dangers and aspects that raise the risk of worker safety and examination of the effectiveness of safety-related activities done to reduce safety risk. Next is hazard and operability hazard studies. A hazard and operability study (HAZOP) is an organized and systematic assessment of a complicated plant or current process or operation to detect and evaluate problems that might endanger workers or equipment. A HAZOP aims to analyze the design and identify design and technical flaws that would not have been discovered otherwise. Next is hazard surveys. Hazard surveys A hazard survey can be as simple as inventory hazardous material in a facility or complicated as a rigorous procedure such as the Dow Fire and Explosion Index (FNEI) and the Dow Chemical Exposure Index (CEI), which are the two most popular forms of hazard survey. The last one is what if analysis. A what if analysis consists of structured brainstorming to determine what can go wrong in a given scenario, the judge, the likelihood, and the consequences that things will go wrong. The next point is the what if analysis method that we choose to identify the hazards in our report. This method begins with process description, drawing, and operating procedures. Then, identify hazard by applying the words what if to a number of areas of investigation. Then, we find out the potential consequences and how to solve any problems. Then, we recommend the actions that must be taken. Then, we record all the information gathered. And my last point is the benefits of the what if analysis method. The benefits are it is useful for an early method of identifying hazards. It can be used for almost every type of situation. It can evaluate every possible outcome. It provides better informed decisions or actions. It improves project predictability, and it gives the analysis of simple and complex factor. Thank you for watching. That's all from us.